Bernard Arnault showed me his watch, a simple, elegant timepiece worth more than most people's houses. This represents 200 years of craftsmanship knowledge, he said quietly. When you buy luxury, you're not buying a product. You're buying centuries of human expertise. He leaned forward. That's why I've spent 40 years collecting the world's greatest luxury brands. I'm not just building a company, I'm preserving civilization's artistic heritage. Tonight, I'm having dinner with Bernard Arnault, chairman of LVMH and one of the world's wealthiest individuals. We're in an exclusive restaurant in Paris, surrounded by the very essence of French luxury and refinement. He's about to share insights into building an empire based not on technology or innovation, but on humanity's eternal desire for beauty and excellence. Tell me about that philosophy, preserving artistic heritage, I said, genuinely intrigued by this perspective on business. Arnault's eyes reflected the same precision and attention to detail that characterizes his brands. Most business leaders chase trends, quarterly results, market disruption. I chase timelessness. When I acquire a luxury brand, I'm not buying a company. I'm becoming the guardian of centuries of knowledge. What kind of knowledge? Take this watch, he said, glancing at his wrist again. The craftsman who made this learned techniques passed down through generations. His father taught him, his grandfather taught his father. Each generation added refinements, improvements, innovations. This isn't just manufacturing, it's cultural DNA. The sommelier approached our table, presenting a wine that was older than most countries. Arnault examined the label with the same intensity I'd seen him apply to business decisions. This wine, he continued, was made from grapes grown in soil that has been cultivated for over 1,000 years. The winemaker used techniques perfected over centuries. When you taste it, you're experiencing history. He poured a small amount and offered it to me. The complexity was extraordinary. That's the difference between luxury and everything else. Luxury carries the weight of time, the accumulation of human excellence across generations. Technology becomes obsolete. True craftsmanship becomes more valuable. How did you develop this philosophy? My father was a successful contractor, building projects across France. I learned early that quality construction lasts decades, while cheap construction fails quickly. That lesson shaped everything. In business, you can build for quarters or you can build for centuries. When did you first encounter luxury brands? 1984, I was running a construction company I had inherited, but I saw an opportunity to acquire Boussac, a textile conglomerate that owned Christian Dior. The company was bankrupt, but Dior was extraordinary. What attracted you to Dior specifically? Christian Dior himself had died decades earlier, but his vision lived on. The atelier, the techniques, the understanding of feminine beauty, that knowledge couldn't be replicated or copied. It was irreplaceable cultural capital. How did you finance the acquisition? Arnault smiled slightly. Very carefully. I convinced investors that luxury brands weren't just fashion companies. They were repositories of cultural value that would appreciate forever. Not everyone understood that vision initially. What was your strategy once you owned Dior? Preserve the essence, enhance the execution. I hired the most talented designers, invested in the finest materials, maintained the highest standards. But I also introduced modern business practices, global distribution, sophisticated marketing, operational efficiency. Our first course arrived, something exquisite that I couldn't immediately identify, but tasted like perfection. This is exactly what I mean, Arnault said, noting my expression. This chef didn't invent these flavors. He mastered techniques developed over centuries, then applied his own interpretation. Tradition plus innovation equals timeless excellence. When did you realize you could build an empire of luxury brands? Late 1980s, Louis Vuitton and Moet & Chandon were merging to create LVMH. I saw the opportunity to create the world's first luxury conglomerate, bringing together the finest brands across categories under unified ownership. That was a hostile takeover, wasn't it? It was competitive, he said diplomatically, but necessary. These brands needed leadership that understood their true value. Many people saw them as lifestyle products. I saw them as cultural institutions that needed protection and development. What's your acquisition criteria for luxury brands? 3 elements: heritage, craftsmanship, and exclusivity. The brand must have authentic historical significance, represent the highest level of skill in its category, and maintain scarcity that preserves desirability. Can you give me examples? Bulgari, Roman jewelry making dating to 1884. Berluti, shoe craftsmanship since 1895. Hennessy, cognac expertise from 1765. Each represents centuries of accumulated knowledge that cannot be replicated. But how do you modernize brands that are hundreds of years old? Very carefully, you enhance distribution without destroying exclusivity. You improve quality without losing character. You attract new customers without alienating existing ones. It's like restoring a painting. You can clean it and preserve it, but you cannot change its essence. What about creative direction? How do you manage artistic vision? I hire the most talented designers in the world and give them complete creative freedom within brand guidelines. Marc Jacobs at Louis Vuitton, John Galliano at Dior, Nicolas Ghesquière now. These are artists, not employees. Don't artistic visions sometimes conflict with business objectives? Short term, yes. Long term, never. A brilliant collection might not sell immediately, but it elevates the brand's cultural status, which increases value permanently. We think in decades, not seasons. The main course was presented with theatrical precision, another example of French excellence elevated to art. Let's talk about the global expansion of luxury. How do you maintain authenticity across cultures? Luxury transcends cultural boundaries because the desire for beauty and excellence is universal. A Japanese customer appreciates French craftsmanship for the same reasons as an American customer: quality, heritage, exclusivity. But don't different markets have different preferences? Absolutely. We adapt presentation and marketing to local tastes, but we never compromise core quality or heritage. A Louis Vuitton bag in Tokyo is identical to one in Paris. Same materials, same techniques, same standards. What about counterfeiting? That must be a constant challenge. Counterfeiting is actually validation. Nobody counterfeits mediocre products. The fact that criminals invest effort in copying our products proves their desirability and value. How do you combat it? Multiple approaches: legal action, authentication technology, education. But the best defense is creating products so sophisticated that counterfeiting becomes impossible. True craftsmanship cannot be replicated cheaply. What role does scarcity play in your business model? Scarcity maintains desirability. If everyone could afford everything we make, nothing would be special. Limited production, exclusive distribution, careful customer selection, these preserve the luxury experience. Isn't that elitist? It's realistic. Luxury has always been exclusive. That's what makes it luxury. But we also create products at different price points, allowing more people to experience our brands while maintaining exclusivity at the highest levels. How do you view the relationship between luxury and social responsibility? Luxury companies have enormous responsibilities to artisans, to communities, to cultural preservation. We employ thousands of craftspeople, support traditional techniques, invest in sustainable practices. Can luxury be sustainable? Luxury is inherently sustainable. We create products designed to last generations, not seasons. We use the finest materials, employ skilled artisans, build things that appreciate rather than depreciate. That's more sustainable than disposable consumer goods. What about the next generation of luxury consumers? Younger consumers are more sophisticated than ever. They appreciate authenticity, heritage, craftsmanship. They research brands deeply, understand quality differences, value experiences over possessions. This generation will be excellent luxury customers. How has digital technology affected luxury retail? Digital enhances luxury but cannot replace it. You can research online, but you must experience luxury physically. The feel of leather, the weight of jewelry, the construction of clothing. These cannot be communicated digitally. What about NFTs and digital luxury goods? Arnault paused thoughtfully. Interesting experiment, but not luxury as I understand it. Luxury requires physical craftsmanship, tangible materials, real scarcity. Digital goods can be copied infinitely. That's the opposite of luxury. Let's talk about your children joining the business. How do you prepare the next generation? They must understand every aspect: design, manufacturing, retail, finance. They work in different brands, different roles, different countries. Leadership of luxury brands requires complete understanding of the business. What qualities are essential for luxury brand management? Patience, taste, and respect for heritage. You cannot rush luxury, you cannot compromise quality, and you cannot ignore history. These brands survived centuries before us and must survive centuries after us. What's been your biggest challenge in building LVMH? Maintaining quality while achieving scale. As you grow, there's constant pressure to reduce costs, speed production, compromise standards. Resisting that pressure requires discipline and long-term thinking. Any major mistakes you've learned from? Early on, I occasionally prioritized growth over quality. I learned that damaging a luxury brand's reputation takes decades to repair. Now I'm extremely conservative about protecting brand integrity. What drives you at this stage of your career? Legacy preservation. I want to ensure these brands continue representing excellence for future generations. I'm not building quarterly results. I'm building cultural institutions. How do you view your competition with other luxury conglomerates? Competition elevates everyone. When Kering or Richemont excels, it raises standards across the industry. Ultimately, we're all preserving different aspects of human artistic achievement. What about your personal relationship with luxury? Do you enjoy the products you create? I appreciate quality in everything: food, wine, art, clothing, but I don't consume conspicuously. The pleasure comes from creating excellence, not displaying wealth. What's your advice for young entrepreneurs interested in luxury? Study history, develop taste, understand craftsmanship. Luxury cannot be faked or manufactured quickly. It requires genuine appreciation for quality and willingness to invest decades in building reputation. Any specific advice? Start with one product, perfect it completely, then gradually expand. Never compromise quality for growth. Build relationships with the finest suppliers and craftspeople, designers. Quality takes time. What's your vision for LVMH's future? Continued excellence, careful expansion, preservation of heritage. We'll acquire worthy brands, develop new products, enter new markets, but always maintaining our standards. How do you want to be remembered? As someone who preserved and enhanced humanity's artistic heritage. Business success is temporary, but cultural preservation is eternal. As dinner concluded with a dessert that was itself a work of art, Arnault reflected on his philosophy. People often ask why I compete for the title of world's richest person. But wealth isn't the goal. It's the byproduct of preserving excellence. When you dedicate your life to maintaining the highest standards, financial success follows naturally. What's the most important lesson you've learned? That true luxury isn't about price. It's about irreplaceability. Anyone can make expensive products. Only masters can create irreplaceable ones. This evening with Bernard Arnault gave me a profound appreciation for the philosophy behind luxury business. His approach of building for centuries rather than quarters, preserving craftsmanship traditions while innovating carefully, shows that some forms of value transcend market cycles and technological disruption. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the other videos to hear the most private dinner conversations where billionaires reveal their deepest secrets. Which part inspired you the most? Drop it in the comments. Let's figure out how to become billionaires together.